Hi there, this is Christa Harbridge with My Living Organized. This is part 3 of a 4-part series on organization. In this video, I'd like to go over a few ideas as to how you can organize your children's bedrooms, their playrooms, and their toys. This is one of my favorite segments and my favorite topics, so I'm going to have fun recording this video. First of all, if you have a playroom in your house, or if you're able to create a playroom in your house, or a secondary playroom in your house, remove all of the toys, video games, and computers from your children's bedrooms. Now, I know, the thought of that just kind of makes you hyperventilate a little bit, doesn't it? But there is method to the madness and very good reason for doing this. I'll share with you 2. Reason number 1, it makes keeping the room neat and tidy a lot easier for your child. When there's not all that stuff in there, your child can clean up their room very quickly, so it helps them. Reason number 2, when you discipline your child and send them to their bedroom on a timeout or for grounding, a longer period of grounding, well, if they have toys and video games and iPods to listen to, well, sending them to their rooms ceases to be the disciplinary action that you need it to be. If you only have a bed, some books, and a closet, well, your child is more likely to sit there and do what timeouts were designed to do, to sit there and think and reflect on the things that they did and how they're sorry and, cool off a little bit. So try doing that. I know a lot of people that have implemented this in their homes, and they are so incredibly glad that they have. It's worked miracles for them. So it might just work for you. Now let's tackle the playroom. Remember what we said in previous videos about keeping like items with like items and designating homes for all of those items and labeling each home? Well, we're going to put that into practice now as we organize the playroom. If your child has a lot of Legos, designate a corner of the room as Legoland. And you'll want to have a Lego table where they can create all their Lego cities on. If you're handy, you could even build that table, make that table yourself, maybe spray paint it with different Lego colors. Now, underneath the table, it will fit, if you just need a 4x6 table. So underneath there, you can fit a couple of larger storage bins with wheels on the bottom that your kids can easily wheel out. And inside those bins, you'll want to keep the big Lego building blocks. Then you'll want to buy a whole bunch of clear plastic, that's my dog, clear plastic shoebox containers. Hi, Zoe. And you can fill them up with different Lego parts. So you'll want to label one with body parts and another with flat parts and another with weird parts, those little parts that you really don't know what they're for or what set they came from, and another container with Star Wars parts or any specialty set that you have or specialty Lego kit that you bought. So you have all these containers labeled. Now you call in your kids to help you separate all the Lego parts and make this a fun game. Designate a shoebox container to each of your child and then see who can fill them up the fastest. Kids are great, as I said before. If you make it a fun game, as you know, they're more than willing to play. So we're making that a fun game to get everything organized and designated and separated. Now, when you're organizing things, it comes with anything in your house. When you're organizing the playroom or their bedroom, when you're organizing spaces with your children, be sure to express to them the reasons and the rewards for doing what you're doing. Let them know that by organizing their playroom this way, that's going to help them find things a lot faster. It's going to be a lot easier for them. And let them know that when they go to clean up the playroom afterwards, which we all know they don't like to do, it makes it a lot more fun. It's like cleaning up the playroom is actually still playing, and it makes it faster too. Speak whatever language you've got to speak to resonate with your child. You know your child the best, but if your child understands that there's a value and a benefit to them to doing these things, well, you'll have on your hands a whole lot more of a willing and happy participant. Now, I can't remember what I was going to say next. Oh, yes, I remember. By getting them involved in separating all of their things and all of their parts and all of their items, also ask them for their ideas as to how they think things should be organized and maybe how they think things should be separated, because that's changing the dynamic of this project being just mommy or daddy's idea, but it's now being switched over to being their idea. Now, if they think that these things are their idea and they came up with it, then they are much more willing, and there's a high probability, or a higher probability, that they're going to adhere to all of these new play systems. It's kind of like the difference between being told what to do and then doing something on your own accord, or doing something that it was your idea in the first place, right? Great. All right, so let's move on to organizing the doll area. This is my favorite. I love dolls, Barbie dolls, and any kind of dolls. I wish it was socially acceptable for a 31-year-old girl to keep a whole entire room full of dolls, but I'm sure my friends and family might think I had a few screws loose. No offense to anybody that collects dolls. Uh-oh. Anyways, I digress. So for dolls, you can grab a bassinet at a garage sale or at a thrift store. Those things are really great to house a whole bunch of dolls in. And then you can use those shoebox containers, those plastic shoebox containers, and label them with one for Barbies, and one for Barbie clothes, and one for doll clothes that aren't Barbies. Then you can have a couple of different bins, one for soft buddies and one for hard buddies. So once you're done labeling everything, again, call your child or call your children over to help separate all of these things. And we're making it fun. Now let's move on to the arts and crafts section. You'll want to have an arts and crafts table. And then you'll want to have all of your supplies housed intelligently. And we were separating all of the supplies. We're not just keeping them in one bin. So I would suggest having a tower of storage bins or baskets or drawers even, and label each one. One for paper, one for glitters and glues, one for markers and crayons, and then another one for scissors and anything that's scary or sharp that you don't want your wee little ones to get into. Just obviously make sure that it's out of reach for the kids you don't want to get into them. You'll also want to have in your arts and crafts board, you'll also want to have, or in your arts and crafts area, put up a cork board or a magnetic board with a whole bunch of magnets where they can display the things that they've created in the arts and crafts section. If you're tired of them displaying their pride and joy on your refrigerator and it's just getting a little bit too cluttered and messy, well, we can take those things and transplant them down to the board in the arts and crafts area. You can also use that for their school things and their drawings, their school drawings. It's a great place. It's all right there, and your kids will love it. You'll want to do the same thing over in the Legoland area. You'll want to designate a couple of shelves so your children can proudly display their Lego creations. Psychologically, if children have areas in the home where they can proudly display their greatest achievements and their parents express that they're very proud of their achievements, if they're really good achievements, that will actually serve to increase and build their self-confidence and their self-esteem levels. So, boards and display areas are just good things to have any way you slice it. Let's move on to puzzles and games. A lot of people struggle with organizing puzzles and games. I find that the best solution is a chest of drawers, or again, a tower of bins or baskets. Label each one with your child's name, and then put their puzzles and their games in their basket, and then have the last space labeled family, and then you can put all your family games into that one. Now we're moving on to play clothes. Play clothes. How many times has your little one gotten ready by themselves upstairs for school and they come down wearing their princess gown and tiara? Yes, oh so cute. But not cute when you're running late for school. So let's take out the play clothes from their real world clothes and put them in the playroom. Now, a lot of people put their play clothes into bins. which never really made too much sense to me, because what happens when your child goes to pull out the clothes that they want to wear? Well, they rifle through the bin and they throw their clothes all over their bedroom, and it just looks like a big old bomb hit it. So rather than putting them in bins, why don't you put them in little wardrobes for children, children's-sized small wardrobes. Now again, you don't have to break the bank on these things. You can pick up a wardrobe at a thrift store or a garage sale or Walmart or IKEA. Just start keeping your eyes open for the pieces that you're going to need now, and hopefully you'll run into some really good deals and some really great scores. So you have in your wardrobe, you'll have the hanging rod with all of their clothing, and then in the drawer underneath, maybe you keep that for tiaras and boas and masks and things like that. So I hope that you've got a couple of good ideas from this video. Now I realize that my storage solutions and my ideas for conversations that you can have with your children and approaches to take and games to play, well, all of these things are not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's all going to depend on your home, the layout of your home, the size of your home, the age of your kids, the personality of your kids, but I hope that you've been able to glimmer at a few gems from this video. My next video is on conversations you'll have to have with your family and family rules you'll want to employ in order to ensure that your newly organized household stays that way. So thank you for watching, and good luck. That was fun. Check us out!